Hey there, do you have the confidence to ask for what you want in life? I don't know about you. This is something that I've certainly struggled with in my life. So I am so glad to have such an incredible guest for you today. So stay tuned to this video because oh my gosh, this is going to be a good one. I have a master at communication with me today to help you and me, right, improve our communication skills. So Cici Cheney here, and today we have the pleasure of chatting with the one and only Renee Marino. Now, I don't know if you know Renee. I have had the pleasure of getting to know her over the last few weeks, and she is a rock star, right? But beyond just how incredible she is on social media and the way she shows up for people, she is also a Broadway and film performer, a writer, and a communication coach. So her focus is all about helping men and women to gain the confidence in themselves and their relationships. Whoo, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to have her. Thank you so much for joining me today, Renee.
Thank you so much for asking me. I'm so excited. I was like excited all morning. I knew this was happening. I went for my run. I was like, "Ooh, gotta hang with Cici today."
I'm so glad. I felt the same way. I woke up this morning and I was like, we are going to bless some lives today by having you here because you've been such a blessing. I've only had the opportunity to know of you in the last couple of weeks, but it has been such a blessing seeing you and seeing the way you show up and hearing your tips and your advice. And so I want to share that with more people. So I'm so glad we can do this.
Awesome.
So let's dig in.
Let's do it.
Okay. So first question I have for you today. Look, you have been incredibly successful, right? You have been in several Broadway shows. I mean, we're talking West Side Story, Wonderland, Cats. I could go on and on, right? You starred in Jersey Boys, right? You played the lead female role of Mary Delgado, Frankie Valli's wife, which is incredible. And here she is talking to us guys, right? So you can be doing a million things, right? You can be doing so many things right now. Why were you compelled to help people boost their confidence and become better at communication?
You know, Cici, I always felt this deep calling, right? I feel like we've all felt it in one form or another. And performing has always been my love. I mean, that was my dream as a little girl to perform on Broadway. And then, being able to star in this film was honestly more than I ever dreamed of. But there was always like this deeper feeling that I always kind of felt pulsating inside of me. And I was like, it's about communication. My whole life, all my friends and family, I would notice that they'd always come to me for advice about their relationships. And the advice I would always give was that communication is really the foundation for all of our relationships, personal and professional. And I like kept hearing myself, and I'm like, damn, Renee, shut up already. Like you keep repeating yourself. But I was like, this is a common theme, not only for the advice I was giving, but a common theme in my own life, communication has been, I feel like, my greatest tool in my life as a performer, but also just as a friend, and as a wife. And I said, this is my calling. And I also thought about the fact that I've really been communicating through my body, right? And through my voice as a singer. Like that has been my foundational quality in my life. So I was like, this is it. It's time to do this. And a year ago, I was doing Pretty Woman on Broadway, and I started writing a book on the topic of communication and how, we're in this day and age of technology. And it's so easy to kind of hide from authentic communication because, if you and I are fighting, Cici, I could just text you, right? And instead of actually having a conversation, I can just do it through my fingers. And that allows me to avoid. But what that does a lot of times is causes more issues. And it has for me. It has for me. So, so I started writing that book a year ago. And then, it's been months and months now, took KBB, that amazing course. And I was like, this is it. Like a light bulb went off. And I was like, this is what I need to be doing because I've been doing it already.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you're bringing up so many good little nuggets already, right? Because so many times we have all of these miscommunications, like we're sending text, there's no tonality, right? I'm reading into something that isn't actually there. I start making up stories in my own head about what's going on in someone else's life.
Oh, 100. Oh, you know what I call that, Cici? I call that the 3-act play. it's like when you create a whole 3-act play in your head about what's going on, and you're like, you know what? Cece's pissed at me. I text her, but like she didn't text me back until 2 hours later. And you know what? When we talked yesterday, she did seem a little off. I bet she's mad from last week. And then meanwhile, hours have gone by. And then when I finally talk to you, you're like, huh? What? I didn't even, you text me? I didn't even get it. And then it's like, I wasted all of energy instead of just being, and is everything okay? Which you would up, and then all that time would have been saved.
Exactly. And I mean, at least, someone who's a good communicator might be able to recover that. But how about the relationships that people lose because of some 3-act play in their heads, right? And all of a sudden you've cut ties, you've ended things, and
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So common. And I feel like for all of you listening, I'm sure you can think of a situation or two in your own lives where you're like, damn, yeah, that's happened to me, because it's so common. And you know what I find? Because communication is such a foundational thing in our lives, we overlook it, right? And we start questioning all these other facets of the relationship. And then the like baseline question, well, did you communicate about it? Is like, oh, well, no, I was a little scared. I didn't want to rock the boat, right? Oh, we've just started dating. I don't want him to run away and get scared, right? We have all these fears and all these limiting beliefs. But the thing is, and this is, I feel like the best advice that I could give to anyone really interested in becoming a better communicator is, you have to think of the alternative, right? So if I'm in a relationship and, I really am into this guy, but I'm scared to kind of, express my feelings, even though he's told me how much he loves me, I'm scared to put myself out there because what if things get, ruined, or what if we end up breaking up? But think about the alternative. If you don't, guess what you have? Missed time, right? You waste time. And that's the one thing in this life we cannot get back, is time. The second thing is wasted energy, which, like, come on, we all have enough going on. We don't need to waste more energy. But number 3 is the missed opportunity. I mean, if this time in quarantine and everything that's been going on doesn't show us how precious time is, and like how we have to just kind of jump in and take some imperfect action, nothing will show us that. So it helps to think of that. Like, do I want to miss out on this opportunity? I know I'm scared, but this could be like the man of my dreams, or this could be the woman of my dreams, or like me and this girl, we connect. We're like, we could be best friends, and I need that support in my life. I need to open up.
I love it. Okay, so when we were doing the Start Over Challenge with Dean Graziosi and so many incredible humans, they highlighted one of your stories that I thought was so powerful. I'd love for you to share this a little bit about this. So you were the lead role, I mentioned this already, in Jersey Boys, but you almost didn't get that role due to some miscommunication. Share that story with us. What happened?
Oh my God. I love this story, you guys, because it's so real, and it's such a representation of how miscommunication can happen in any part of our lives. So I was doing the show on Broadway at the time that they were casting for the movie. Truth be told, I didn't even think anything of it. I was like, they're going to hire, some like Marissa Tomei to play my role in the movie, some A-list celebrity. Didn't think twice about it until Clint Eastwood came to see us in the show. And one of my castmates was like, Clint Eastwood's in the audience. And I was like, huh? And there I am, like, out on stage, and he's like 10 rows back. And I was like, oh, hi, Clint Eastwood. Hey. So then a couple weeks go by, and they start calling people in from our company to audition. So now at this point I was like, okay, that'd be cool. Like, I don't care if I'm like the tiniest little part. I could be like, a person on the street, whatever it is, but it'd be great to be a part of this. So then I call my agent and I'm like, listen, I'd love to be a part of the film in any way, shape, or form. And then a few days later, they put out a breakdown for the role of Mary Delgado, which was the role I was playing. And a breakdown means just a description, right, of the character. And I was like, okay, that's me. Like, they're like, sassy Italian girl from New Jersey. And I'm like, that's me. And I'm playing the role. Like, I'm literally playing the role right now. So
right.
Call my agent again. And I was like, okay, this would be great. They just put out a breakdown. And she was like, I'm on it. Don't worry. So now, I'm still doing 8 shows a week. Other girls are getting called in for the role of Mary, and I'm like, wait, I'm not getting an audition. Like, I'm actually playing the role. Like, what's going on? So my agent calls me and she's like, Renée, I don't know what the deal is. Like, they won't see you for Mary. Like, they'll call you in. You can audition for one of the angels who sings My Boyfriend's Back. And I'm like, but I don't understand. Like, Clint Eastwood saw me. Unless he himself said, I don't want to see her, like, why can't I get an appointment? But then you know what? I threw my hands up and I was like, listen, I'm still going to go in and audition for one of the angels. I go to the audition. The casting director and I are talking, and I'm telling him how I'm really from New Jersey and blah, 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 having great conversation. And he goes, okay, would you like to sing or read first for the angels? And I look at him and I go, I got to be honest with you, Jeff. I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado. And I'm like, I didn't know what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he's like, I was just thinking the same thing. And I'm like, amazing. Okay. And he's like, great. So you can do the angel stuff. And then do you want to come back another day to audition for Mary, or you can do it today? I was like, nope, I am doing it today. I am not leaving this building until I audition. So did the audition, felt so great that day because of the sole reason that I got the opportunity. That's all I wanted. Going back again to missed opportunities. If I didn't open my mouth in that room, I could have missed that opportunity to even audition. Whether I got the role or not, that wasn't even the question. I just wanted to know, like, I gave myself every possible opportunity. So I left there that day feeling so great. It was a great feeling. So 2 weeks later, I'm at my childhood home in New Jersey, where I grew up, which is like down the street from where the whole storyline of Jersey Boys takes place. And it's my dad, my mom, and my grandmother. We're about to leave for my brother's wedding. And my agent calls me and she's like, you're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loved you. And I'm like, oh my God, like screaming. I run out of my little bedroom. My mom's like, what's wrong? I'm crying. I'm like, I'm going to be in a movie. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, even when I talk about it now, I still get chills. So just to preface this, I'd never done a film before. I never did TV. I just did Broadway. I was like a theater girl. So the first day of filming, it was like jumping off of a cliff, right? And I was like in my Mary dress that I wear in the first scene of the film. And I'm like in the shuttle on the way to set. And I'm like, all right, God, here we go. Like, let's do this. And I walk in, and Clint Eastwood's team of people are the most wonderful, genuine people. They were just so loving. Renee, welcome. And I'm such a family-oriented person, so it felt so good to me. I was like, oh, I love this. So Clint comes up to me and he's like, I went around to all the different casts, but nobody was in your class. And then you came in and put yourself on tape, and it was the icing on the cake. And I'm like, literally, like, nearly peeing my pants. I'm like,
seriously,
this is like a legend. And he's like the most loving, kind man in the world. So every day I would film, starting with that first day, he and I would eat lunch with him. And Cici, I would pick his brain like crazy. I'd be like, Clint, what was it like when you started acting? Clint, what did you do here? Clint, what does this mean when you say POV shot? What kind of shot is that? Like, for me, I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I need to soak it in as much as I can. And it was incredible. So we would sit and talk, and he was like, he's a mentor to me, truly. So few weeks down the road, we're filming. It's him, myself, and the executive producer, and we're eating. And they start talking about how Clint knew that he wanted me for the film when he saw me on Broadway. And I go, wait a minute, what'd you say? And they're like, yeah, Clint knew that he wanted you like the minute he saw you. And I said, do you guys want to hear a funny story? I couldn't even get an audition. And they're like, what do you mean? We requested you. You requested me? I said, The only reason I auditioned for Mary is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and said, I'd love to read for Mary. So the three of us are like so perplexed. We're like, how did this happen? So come to find out, there was some middleman casting associate who was like juggling several films at once and just dropped the ball.
Wow.
So like this story, I just love so much because think about it. If I didn't have the confidence to open up my mouth and communicate what I wanted, I could have missed my once in a lifetime opportunity. And it's
Yes.
just, to me, when you think about, again, the alternative, it's even as scared as you may be, it's worth it to just put yourself out there and at least give yourself the chance to make it happen.
I love this. I love this. And the first time I heard this story, when I heard you doing it in SOC Challenge, I was like, how many times have people been there? Right? Like there's that thing that you want.
Yep.
But to ask for it, to get beyond the fear and actually ask for it.
Yes.
Like, so many people don't do it. So many people can't take that leap. And if you hadn't, oh my gosh, would we be talking right now? Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So people might be hearing this and they're going, okay, well, Renee, like you've got this experience, like you're a total communicator. I might not be that good at that. I'm hearing you, what's the alternative? But I'm still a little scared.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's kind of struggling for asking what it is that they want?
Yes. You brought, because I am very well aware that we are all so different, right? Some of us are extroverts, some are introverts, some, were brought up, a lot of my clients were brought up in families. And this, I would say, is like my ideal client, a man or a woman who was brought up in a family where communication wasn't open, right? It wasn't a thing. Like for me, listen, I know that it's part of how I grew up. We would sit around my kitchen table, Italians were eating and we're talking, right? So like it became natural. But that's not the same for all of us. And listen, some of my closest friends are more scared than anything to like ask for anything that they want. But I'm here to tell you that it is possible. Even if you grew up in the most communication phobic family, even if, you've never asked for what you wanted before, you can do it. But step one is to believe that you can, right? That you can make that change. So step one is to say to yourself, you know what? I may have not asked for what I wanted for 30 or 40 years of living, but guess what? I start today. And from there, the next step is starting with communication within. Communication with self is number one. So a little technique that I like to give is very simple. When you wake up in the morning, I know we're all busy, right? We all have so much going on, but we must be able to take 10 minutes for ourselves, right? Because if we can't take care of ourselves, we can't properly take care of the people that we need to take care of. So set a timer, make it 5 to 10 minutes, take out your journal if you have one, or just a piece of paper, and simply ask the question, how am I feeling? That's it. And from there, I just want you to free write. Even if you're not a writer, you don't have to be a writer to do this. Just let yourself go. It could start with, I feel so stupid doing this. This is not helping me at all. Yeah. But why I advise to do this is writing is very, it's a form of therapy. And as human beings, we have so much going on in our minds, but most of it is happening subconsciously, right? So when we write, it's like taking that crap that's back here that we're not aware of, and all of a sudden when you write, certain things are revealed. And for me, I think it's hilarious because sometimes I'm like, no, I'm great, like today I'm fine, and then I'll look back at what I wrote and I'm like, oh, I guess I am still pissed at my husband for that, like yesterday, right? Like, right. I'm like, oh, I don't sound like I'm over it yet. And it's great because it allows you to have a mirror. So like after saying, how am I feeling? You may see some clues and you look back and read it and you're like, oh, whoa, okay. I wasn't aware of that. And all of a sudden you're training yourself to have a dialogue with you. Because we're so good at being like, hey friend, what do you need? Mom, what do you need? Dad, kids, this, right? That we have neglected ourselves. And then we wonder why it's hard to ask for what we want. How could you do that? You haven't been getting what you want from yourself. Whew.
Right. Well, did she just drop some nuggets right there? Did she just drop something that was amazing, right? Like have that dialogue with yourself. I don't know if anybody walks away with anything else, but that little piece, like if you can't be honest and real with yourself, how are you going to do that with anyone else?
Exactly.
How? Okay, Renee, I know you're crazy busy. I know you've got a lot of things going on. I appreciate you so much for being here. Let's say somebody wants to learn more from you. They want to get their skills together. They want to be better communicators. Let us know how they can do that.
Yes. So you guys, my ladies, my men, everybody watching, you can find me on Instagram at Renee Marino Official. Send me a direct message. I always respond. And also on Facebook, Renee Marino. Definitely send me a direct message. And yeah, I do one-on-one coaching. I'm in the process of developing my first course. And I've been helping a lot of people with communication on camera, because what we're doing now, and live videos and everything's virtual. So some people aren't comfortable with that, right? And that again is a form of communication. So yeah, say hi. I'd love to meet you. And if you have any questions, just reach out.
Yes, say hi to Renee, guys. This is literally what I did. I simply sent her a message and said, hey, will you do this with me? If not, it's totally cool, but if you will, I'd love to have you. And here we are, right? So let that be a lesson to you, but definitely reach out to Renee. She's an incredible human and she's so passionate about helping people. I can see it every day when I see you do these lives inside of our communities. I love you so much and appreciate you.
Wait, Cici, and I just want all of your followers to know that your girl Cici here did exactly what we're talking about. She asked for what she wanted. She reached out to me and I told her at first, Facebook is wacky sometimes, you guys, because it has like spam messages. I didn't know that. So I all of a sudden opened up this folder and I had these messages and you were one of them. And that's what I said. I'm so sorry. I just saw this. But she asked for what she wanted. And you know what? She was okay with me saying no if I said no, right?
Yeah, totally.
Look, here we are together connecting with all of you just because Cici asked for what she wanted.
That's right. And you can get what you want too. And if you need help with that, reach out to my girl, Renee. Otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you soon. Till next time. Ciao.